5 parts, you will have water. So now, in order to calculate actually how much petrol and kerosene and water you have, so what is the fraction? What is the fraction of petrol? 2 parts out of 10 parts. So 1/5 is your petrol. And what is the actual quantity? What is the total quantity given to you? 100. In 100, 1/5 is your petrol. So that means this is 20 liters of petrol it will have. Similarly, fraction of kerosene, you have 3 parts kerosene divided by 10 parts total. So therefore, what should be the quantity? This fraction into the total quantity, which is 30 liters. And finally, if you have fraction of water, is 5 parts out of those 10 parts. That means half the part is water. That means what is the quantity of water? It is half of 100, which is 50 liters. So what you do, you add up these three, you will get 100 liters. So in 100 liters of water, you have 20 liters as petrol, you have 30 liters as kerosene, and you have 50 liters as water. That is what ratio means. Now there are some certain technical definitions here. This is the basic meaning of ratios. There are certain basic definitions that you must know for your class 10 standard, which you have not done in your earlier classes. Okay. See this. First definition is that of composition of ratios. Okay. So if I give you two ratios, say A is to B and C is to D, then the composition of these two ratios will be you multiply the antecedents together. So these are your antecedents, A and C. Multiply them together is 2, and now you multiply the consequents together. So this is your AB is to BD is the composition of these two ratios. Okay. Similarly, you can have composition of three ratios.
Morning, sir.
Yes. Three ratios, A is to B, C is to D, and suppose you have E is to F. Three ratios are given to you. What should be the composition of these three ratios? You multiply the antecedents together, you get ACE is to, and you multiply the consequents together. You have BDF. Okay. This is what we mean by composition of ratios, and this is called compound ratio. Okay, this ratio is called a compound ratio. Ratio of A is to B, C is to D, and E is to F. Okay. We see a small problem here based on compound ratios. Question here is find the compound ratio of A minus B is to A plus B, A plus B whole square is to A square plus B square, and you have e to the power of 4 minus e to the power of 4 is to A square minus B square whole square. You need to find out the compound ratio of these three. So what do? You multiply the antecedents together. Okay, so you multiply the antecedents A minus B into A plus B whole square into e to the power of 4 minus b to the power of 4. is 2. Now you multiply the consequence together. A plus b into a square plus b square into a square minus b square whole square. Okay. Now in order to simplify this, you express this as a fraction. Now you factorize into the simple factors. So you have a minus b, a plus b whole square, and a to the power of 4 minus b to the power of 4 you can write as difference of two squares. A plus b, a square plus b square into this a square minus b square you can write as a plus b into a minus b whole square. Now in the next step you have a minus b into a plus b whole square. Now this is a square minus b square. So this is a square plus b square into a square minus b square divided by, you have a plus b into a square plus b square, and here this is a plus b whole square into a minus b whole square. Okay, now in the numerator, if you see, again I have this a square minus b square, which can further be factorized. All the other terms you cannot factorize any further. Now you cancel out whatever is common in the numerator and denominator. The a plus b whole square cancels out. You have a square plus b square cancels out. You have a plus b cancels out. 1 a minus b cancels out from the denominator and a minus b cancelled out from the numerator. Okay, and 1 a minus b will cancel out from here. Okay, so you have just correct this. Okay, here there might be some mistake in cancellation. It will actually come to 1. So the ratio is 1:1. Okay, this is how you find out the compound ratio. Next, what I come to the definition that we do next is called the duplicate ratio of a given ratio. Duplicate ratio. The duplicate ratio of a given ratio a is to b is a square is to b square. That is, you square the antecedent and you square the consequent, you will get the duplicate ratio. So for example, if I give you a ratio √5:7, what is the duplicate ratio? Square the antecedent, square the consequent. So you get 5:49. Okay, and there are other examples also you can check. Triplicate ratio is very similar to the concept of duplicate ratio, except that here we cube the antecedent and the consequent. The triplicate ratio of a is to b is a cube is to b cube. Okay, it's very similar concept. Let us move on to this problem here. based on duplicate and triplicate ratio. The question here is, if x minus 9 is to 3x plus 6, is the duplicate ratio of 4:9. Find the value of x. So what can we say? What is the duplicate ratio of 4:9?
16:81.
Okay, duplicate ratio of 4:9 is equal to 4 square is to 9 square, isn't it? Which is equal to 16:81. But what is the duplicate ratio given? X minus 9 is to 3x plus 6. So according to a given problem, x minus 9 is to 3x plus 6 must be equal to 16:81. And then you get an equation here. We solve this equation. First write it as a fraction. Okay. You solve this equation, you get x is equal to 25. Fine. So that is a simple illustration. Next, you have something called as a sub-duplicate ratio. Now, what is a sub-duplicate ratio? In duplicate ratio, if you remember, we were squaring the antecedent and the consequent. Here we take the square root, the positive square root of the antecedent and the consequent to get the sub-duplicate ratio. So the sub-duplicate ratio of A is to B is square root of A is to square root of B. Okay. So if you have a given ratio, say if I give you this ratio, 1/4 is to 1/9. Then what should be the duplicate ratio of this, sub-duplicate ratio of this?
1/2 is to 1/3.
Is square root of positive square root of 1/4 is to the positive square root of 1/9, which is equal to half is to 1/3. Now there's a small you already know how to this. See, fraction in the ratios does not normally we don't work with fractions in the ratios. If I want to convert the antecedent and the consequent to natural numbers or integers, then what do? We take the LCM of 2 and 3. Okay, what is the LCM of 2 and 3? 6. So I multiply the antecedent by 6 and also the consequent by 6.
1/.
So you get 3:2. So whether I write 3:2 or whether I write half is to 1/3, it's the same thing. Okay, just remember this. Now there are some other very basic examples of ratios. I'm sure you have done all this. These definitions you might not have done, but these you have already done. Look at this question. If A is to B, is 2:3, and B is to C is 4:5, and also C is to D is 6:7. Question is, find A is to D. Okay. Now, in order to see that I have A to B, then I have B to C, and then I have C to D. This is what I have, right? So I start with A is to B. The first two, A is to B is equal to 2 is to 3, and B is to C is equal to 4 is to 5. See that the consequent here corresponding to this B is 3, and the consequent and the antecedent here corresponding to B is 4. So we take the LCM of 3 and 4. LCM of 3 and 4 is 12. Why are we doing this? We are doing this because we want to make this 3 and this 4 equal. Okay. This the consequent of the first ratio and the antecedent of the second ratio, you want to make it equal. So therefore A is to B will become, you multiply the antecedent of the first, okay, to get, okay, so not multiply. What you do here is you want to make this 3 into 12. You want to convert this 3 to 12. How much do you multiply by? You have to multiply by 4. So when we are multiplying this 3 by 4, we also need to multiply the antecedent of the ratio by 4. Okay.
Excuse
We'll
me,
get,
sir.
yes, tell me.
Sir, can't we take both the same, like antecedent, both same?
Antecedent both same. I could not get you. What you mean?
Like both antecedent and antecedent, we can't take as LCM.
No, because see because B here I have B corresponds in the first ratio, B corresponds to this, right? And in the second ratio, B corresponds to this. So B is the only common part between the two
Oh, yes,
ratios.
yes.
That is why. Okay.
Yes.
So B, now we
Thank
have
you.
B is to C. Now you want to make this into a 12, right? So we need to multiply this by 3. When you are multiplying this by 3, we need to multiply this also by 3. So 4 into 3 is to 5 into 3. So how much do we get? We get 12 is to 15. So now you see that they are same, right? So therefore we can write A is to C must be equal to 8 is to 15. Once they are same, now you can write A is to C is equal to 8 is to 15. Okay. Now we work with A is to C. So we have A is to C is equal to 8 is to 15, right? And we have C is to D is equal to 6 is to 7. Now we again work with the consequent of this and the antecedent of this. So what is it? LCM 15 and 6. Okay. The LCM of 15 and 6 is 30. So we want to make this 15 into a 30. So we need to multiply this by 2. So if you are multiplying this by 2, we also need to multiply this by 2. So therefore, A is to C, we can write as 8 into 2 is to 15 into 2. We get 16 is to 30. And C is to D. Again, you see, we want to convert this 6 into a 30. So we need to multiply this by 5. Multiplying this by 5 means we're multiplying this also by 5. So that means 6 into 5 is to 7 into 5. So we get 30 is to 35, right? So now we see that these two are same. So therefore, hence we can say A is to D, that is the ratio of these two quantities, must be equal to 16 is to 35. That's it. Okay, so this was one basic sum on ratio. Okay, I'll stop here for today.